Welcome to another edition of Open Mic. I'm Mark Murphy, CEO at Atlatl Software. My returning guest, James Townsend, Director of Implementations. James, the topic today is the cost of doing nothing. And as we look at digital transformation projects, and a lot of our software I'd consider new tech. And because we're really not competing per se with other technologies, we do find ourselves competing with doing nothing.
Sure.
And we get into customer situations where they're trying to lean forward and make decisions on big digital transformation initiatives, but there's a cost, there's a time equation to doing this. These are significant investments, and the other consideration is, can we just continue on business as usual and either avoid this investment, kick it down the road when the timing may be better? So as you engage customers, how are you addressing that? What are you talking about of risks of doing that, and getting them over this cost of doing nothing?
Sure, and it's a great point that a lot of our clients are facing. When we're first engaging with a client of ours, one of the things that we hear most often is that they're already overstretched, they're thin, the people are overworked, and essentially becoming constraints in a very time-sensitive process, and that's generally the quoting process. So they're slowing down the sales teams and not speeding them up. And more people isn't necessarily solving that problem either. So when we talk about the cost of doing nothing, one of the things that we like to look at and emphasize is just, are you scalable in the state that you're in right now? And we find that customers generally are already in a state where they can't scale anymore. More bodies aren't going to equate to equivalent savings on time. And that time then costs money from the ability to convert sales and get orders in the door. So generally, scalability is something that's really key to consider. I think the technology itself is way past the early adopter phase too. So, and that's often a tricky discussion to have, because a lot of people look at technology like this and they think it's light years ahead of what they've been doing, whether it be with Excel documents or just, the magic of people and putting more humans in the process. And the reality is that the businesses themselves are already very behind. And the technology has already been adopted by a lot of their competition as well. So they're struggling. They're fighting to maintain their market share. They're fighting to continue to provide the best experience for their customers in a market that's generally already progressed past that point. So scalability, the fact that this technology is mature and it's not an early adopter period anymore, really are compelling. And the cost of not taking on a transformation like this is really, and we've heard this from a lot of executives, a complete loss of competitiveness.
Right.
And
the time horizon has been reduced,
shrunk dramatically,
where if you don't, you seemingly could not catch up at some point,
right,
if your competitors are accelerating.
Exactly, and it's really compelling. I think the timelines, especially with the ability to implement tools like this fairly rapidly, and the cost to do so is very small compared to what the cost of doing business as is for that business. It's a pretty compelling business case, and that's typically how we like to look at this with our clients or with prospects is, make it compelling. There's hard costs to be achieved here. It's not just the soft wins. It's really hard costs that are, able to be taken out of that process and get more wins for that customer, and ultimately, up their revenue, up their margins, and otherwise become competitive again, or continue to maintain their position competitively in the market.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'd love to continue this discussion. Please reach out to us at atlatlsoftware.com.